Hello, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Robert Arnold. I'm a principal analyst with Frost & Sullivan's Connected Work research team. I'm joined today by Joseph Paradi, the Enterprise Service Lead for Avanade Internal IT Group.
Within our team, we view AV as just another set of bits across the wire. So we run our AV just as part of our network. It's on the same switches, it's on the same infrastructure as all of our other network. And our team that manages our Office 365 platform manages Microsoft Teams as part of that platform, manages Teams live events as a producer team, and they manage our Teams rooms. And so we have that end-to-end capability and ownership within our IT team for all the aspects that Microsoft Teams needs to be successful.
In 18 months, everything has been flipped. Meetings used to be room to room. That's the way things were designed originally when we talked about video enabled meeting rooms, right? And now it's really, every meeting is going to be maybe it's room to room, but there are definitely going to be people remote coming into the room. How has that changed the way you think about your design?
Well, it's changed a few things. I think you're absolutely right. Room to room used to be the standard. And so thinking about video, for example, you need to have good quality video for not only the other room, but all the individuals as well. So it's a more complex environment.
When people joined and they were the odd man out, so to say, they were mostly there for informational awareness, right? It was kind of a bad idea from an IT perspective to be the main presenter, for example, if you're the remote participant. Has that expectation changed? Is it still changing? How's that evolving?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I think there's two big things that I've noticed. Number one is that people are a lot more comfortable now with participating remotely. So they're wanting to be more active, they're able to be more active, and the utilities like Teams are making that possible. But the other interesting side of it is people have realized the importance of good audio and video. And so we get more and more requests for, hey, how do I look better on video? Or can I get a good external camera or microphone? It's really interesting. In a couple of our offices, we had maybe 50% of the rooms were equipped with Teams rooms. And now we're going for 100%. And it's really amazing to see how quickly people book those rooms. Now that they know that it's a Teams room, now that they know that they can have a good experience with people that are remote, those are the rooms they want to use. And so the push from our user community is every room needs to be a Teams room because this is going to be every meeting.
What challenges was Avanade facing in enabling these spaces for Teams?
What we wanted to do in these flexible spaces was allow for advanced audio, advanced video using Microsoft Teams. Because Microsoft Teams leverages USB as a standards-based interface for microphone, speaker, and camera, and leverages HDMI for display, we're able to use Microsoft Teams rooms with QSC USB IOs to channel in audio from different microphones, to channel audio out to multiple speakers, and to bring in multiple cameras where we're controlling those cameras from the QSC interface rather than Teams. So Teams does what it does best, channeling that audio and video out into the Teams cloud and to the other participants in the meeting. And QSC handles the audio and video mixing to allow us to get the best experience.
Joseph, how did you you and your team arrive at your choice of QSC as a provider?
About 4 years ago, when we were designing our new Seattle headquarters, we were looking to see how can we take advantage of what we knew would be the power of, at the time, Skype for Business and now Microsoft Teams. In order to do that, we wanted a solution that was forward-thinking, that was focused on the types of things that we did as an IT team, and that would allow us flexibility to grow and change for the future. QSC allowed us to do this because they are software driven, they have great integration with lots of peripherals, and they plug right into Microsoft Teams. QSC delivers upon that with their certified Teams room implementation, the USB I/O, the integration with third-party microphones and speakers, and the QSC cameras. But the other side of it, which is not as sexy as the functionality side, is operations. And that's really where QSC has made the difference for us. Because QSC is IT friendly and allows us to access their UIs over either browser-based interfaces or across known ports on the network. What we've been able to do is to have centralized management of all of our QSC implementations around the world. What this means is that my local support team in an office in the Far East or in Europe or in North America, if they can't solve the problem locally, our operations team is able to see into that QSC system, understand where the problem might be, offer support, and in many times remotely resolve the issue. It also means that we can do the things that we need to do as an IT team, like updating firmware to keep it current or to address any security vulnerabilities. We can manage it in a secure way, things like VLAN segmentation and firewall rules, so that the technology works and Microsoft Teams works, but we also have the kind of protections that our security team is interested in, because we have a whole lot of technology running in the AV space that is not familiar to the rest of the organization.
And were there any other benefits received from partnering with QSC? Maybe something you didn't expect, or maybe something that that you adamantly had to have?
QSC listened to our needs as an enterprise IT organization. They understood why those things were important. And they worked with us both to discover features that maybe we hadn't realized were there and could use. But as they've introduced new features over the last 3 years, you can see that a number of them are beneficial to IT teams. And so that's something that as a partner for us was really valuable. It's something that we know Microsoft does, listen to their enterprise IT customers, and QSC has done the same thing. So we think partnering with QSC, particularly around Microsoft Teams, has been a win for us. And you can see that in the level of partnership that QSC itself has with Microsoft Teams product group. So when you see multiple devices certified by Microsoft, when you see the software configuration certified by Microsoft, that tells you that QSC is invested in the Teams ecosystem and wants to make Teams successful. And that's the company we want to partner with every time. I wanted to show you some of the power of what we've done with QSC for our global environment. What I'm showing you right now is our central management console using the Q-SYS UCI viewer, and it can see, as you can see along the left-hand side here, all of the different Q-SYS installations that we have around the world. And whether that's in the United States, whether that's in Europe or the Far East, our operations team has the ability to see what's happening and help a user to resolve an issue. So let's take a look at an example here of our environment in our Seattle headquarters office. We have all of the different rooms that are on the second floor, and I can look at a specific room. I can see whether there's something going on in that room, and I can drill in through any of these elements that we've built. So I can see, as the mic seeing inputs, are we online? And those are really important for troubleshooting.
Yeah.
But even more interesting is, let's say that there's a user in the room and maybe they're having a challenge with the room. We actually have the live touch panel that's in that room in our interface here. So I can see here that maybe I get a ticket or a call that says, hey, the other side can't hear me. And I can see that they've muted the mic, and I can unmute the mic for them. So that allows us to do remote support, whether it's a local person in that building or whether it's an operations team. So one of the things in the Q-SYS integration with third parties that we did, which is an opportunity for you if you're looking at doing this, is integrating with devices that might not be AV devices. So in many large conference rooms, you will have shades. And in one of our rooms in Seattle, we had motorized shades. And that's not something that is an AV piece of equipment. But because Q-SYS has the right programming can talk over IP. We had a serial to IP interface that plugged into the Shade controller. Shade controller had commands, and we were able to build a Shade controller interface right into the controls here. And it's also on the touch panel in the room that allows us to raise and lower both sets of shades. So there's solar shades and full shades in this room, and allow us to get that great experience that we're looking for without the user having to try and figure out where the shade control is within the room, because it's right on the touch panel. And if they don't know where the touch panel is, or the touch panel's not working, our support team can also access it from here. So this is yet another example of QSC integrating with third-party devices, maybe not AV devices, that allow you to get that full experience that your users are looking for.
That is what you call room control, for sure.
What we call room control, absolutely.